Amanda, I know you're there. You don't have to whack me in the head, okay? Old Hammerbeak here. One thing if he just came up and gave me a light tap, he doesn't do that. He comes over and whack.
Oh, Amanda, you're so silly.
Well, it works. The thing is, he instead of trying gently at first, he started by whacking me hard. He just wants me to pet him. It's not like he's trying to hurt me or anything, but I've got a pretty
Yeah,
quick.
that's so cute. Pet me. Like you have eyes on the back of your head.
He definitely believes I do. What are you doing over there?
Yeah.
And this one, she just climbed up and said, I want to be petted. Usually she's chasing to get preened by somebody, but not today.
I can see the stalker in the background. I can see Cecil running around with a toy. And I could already hear Babaloo Bob, so he must be somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Ah, or a lie.
Hi, Lawfly.
Oh,
Oh,
don't
look how
start on.
Jasmine is happy to see Lorelai. She's pet me, preen me.
Lorelai, oh, not this again. This pink creature won't leave me alone. Hi, Jocelyn. Hi, Calvin. Eleanor. And Babaloo Bob. What are you
Babaloo
doing?
Bob.
Babaloo Bob.
Bob
Oh,
is the cute.
he knows something's going on. He's looking at me that look like
Yeah, he knows Imposter Bob is already again on YouTube.
but I've got the earbuds in today, so with any luck, he won't try to eat me. Right, Bob?
Yeah, that would be fine. Wouldn't it, Lorelai? So
Yeah,
Amanda is gone. Jasmine is still needy.
yeah. This is not usual for her. She doesn't usually just run up and sit on my chest and want to be petted. But
But Lorelai looks ultra cute how she sits on your shoulder. Super proud girl. Are you going to nap, Lorelai?
she's gonna try to leave her alone. You can't keep rushing at her. She doesn't like it when you rush up at her like that. It's one thing to ask to be preened. It's another one to ask at gunpoint, and that's the way she acts. Like, I want to be preened now. What's going on, Jazz? You okay in there? Huh? Lorelai just sitting up there looking majestic.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Jam and Jamie, Falcon Sue. These guys. What are you guys doing? Well, they definitely like the dual television setup now. I have that splitter and an old TV setup so they can see it. So that seems to have calmed them down a little bit. Lorelai's been a little bit on elevated medicine because she started picking at her chest. She's not picking at it anymore, but it's going to take a month before she gets her feathers back. Right now, she just basically has down on her chest.
Oh, that's a shame. Poor Lorelei.
Yeah, she's a sensitive little girl. Now give her a break. She doesn't want to just sit there and preen. Hey, Mander! You whacked me in the head again.
Oh no,
Mander,
Amanda.
stop that.
Be aware if you ever wear a hoodie and be in the close environment of Manda, you might get trouble.
I'm not going to pet you if you whack me in the head. No. In fact, I'm going to scoot myself away from you.
But Dad, you wear a hoodie.
I don't want to reinforce the behavior of being whacked in the head. So, so now you're going to climb up there. Come here. Come on. We're not doing that. Come here. No.
Poor baby Amanda.
Come on. Down here. Down here. There, I'll pet you right there. I'll pet you right there. Okay. It's a cute behavior in some ways, but it's not the one you want to reinforce. Jasmine, what are you doing sitting here? Get up there. Go on. Like a pet Mander. Hey, what's going on with you today, huh? What's going on
Amanda,
with Amanda?
you look fussy.
Hey, little boy.
That's a cute little face, isn't it?
They're all super cute today. Haven't seen Sugar, but a lot of other pinkness. Ah, she's fine preening. Ah, hi Sugar. So let's see, who is everybody out? I've spotted Sugar.
Let me change the camera angle here.
Let's make a bird panorama.
There's Babaloo.
Hi, Bob.
Being bucket boy.
He's a bucket boy diver.
Just
Lolfly.
seen Jazzy Bird.
Jazzbird. Goose.
Lucy. That's
The
Lucy.
goose.
Sugar.
Busy Sugbird.
Cecil.
Cecil.
Part of his toy. These toys cost about $5 a piece, and he's more interested. He plays with them for a good 10 minutes, and then he takes them apart. I have to work on some way to make them harder to take apart. He's figured this new one out so that he can pop them apart too quickly. Snowball, what are you doing over there? What are you doing? I don't know about you, kid. Hey, Mander. Bob, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's ignoring me. Are you ignoring me, Bob? I'm so glad you can make multiple toys out of one toy there, big boy.
Oh, hi, Bob. Look what you have there in the bucket. What a beautiful toy. What
Hey,
a
Bob.
busy Bob. It looks like today he's not occupied with you, but rather the bucket, which is good.
He's
Yeah,
not
that's
hearing
good.
the voices. He's not. hearing the voices, Carol Ann going, they're here. And gets the poltergeist in him going. Well, he knows I'm up to something, but he's not hearing it, so. What are you looking at? What are you looking at, Sugarbird? Huh? Sugarbird. 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 That's it. Preen and then just sit there. Well, the only ones, Cecil and Bob are the only ones who are terribly active right now. Mander's starting to get bored, though. He'll be getting up in my ropes soon. He starts looking around when he says, okay, I've had enough. Right, boy? Mm-hmm. I was doing Lucy's beak yesterday, and it's never quite happened. I cover her eyes, so none of the flakes of doing her beak ends up in her eyes. But I don't know what happened, but just all of a sudden, the material from her beak just flew into my face. It's like right in
Oh,
my eyes. Well, I know what direction the Dremel is moving, and I understand physics, but it's never been that quick. She just had a section of beak that just that moved that broke apart faster, and it just all came flying at me. She looked at me really strange when I jumped back. I went, "Whoa!" I can't wear. People will say you wear safety glasses. Sure, yeah, so I can get bit. No, I can't do that. Usually my glasses are helpful, but it depends. Sometimes when I'm getting really close and working, I just prefer to look over my glasses, and that was my mistake that time. See, there he goes. You can only take so much of that at a time. But you don't know where to go now, do you? Indecision is a terrible thing. Well, it is. It's a terrible thing. He's almost looking at me like maybe I'll come back down. Can't, because I have Cecil at one point and I have Lucy. I can't get around to another. You want back down? All right. Well, come on. You can get back down. Oh, you can't get back down and get right back up. That doesn't make any sense.
oh, come on, man.
I think he wants me to move him over on this end. So there you go. So he can just go down there.
Oh,
That's what.
he just wanted a lift.
He didn't quite know how to communicate it, but basically he didn't want to be on my lap, and he didn't want to be in that section, so put me somewhere else.
Gross. What a big fluffy boy.
And when I was working on KK's beak this time, I do it about once a week, so he had a divot in the lower section of his beak that he's never had that before. So I had to cut it, and it was more difficult to cut the curve because I had to flush that divot out too. So I've done so much beak trimming now that I can almost do anything. But all right, Cecil. Yeah, I don't have to trim his beak though. I'm grateful for the birds that I don't have to do that with. I have to do Cosmo. I have to do Lucy. I I don't think Lucy would have had any problem if it wasn't for the idiots at that veterinary office flattening her beak out the way they did. They just caused so many problems with it. So
Mm.
I have to reshape the upper, and then the lower gets out of whack too because the way they shaped the upper beak, she couldn't properly form the curve in the lower beak that she's supposed to. So, but she had a little bit of a jagged, and it's kind of like the Pahrump skyline out there. It was just ups and downs, and all that you gotta smooth it out and make it round. You have to make it so that they can put that little groove in the upper section of their beak because they use the lower to make a little groove here, and that way they can put things in there and hold them. It's their little trick to holding things in their beak. So, hi, Shug. Hi, Sugar. Hi, baby. That's a sugar girl. Mhm. That's a sugar bird. Is that the sugar bird? Mm. On their nails, I use a combination of dremeling, and depending on how much they've grown, I may clip off a section too. I have special clippers that are round, so you put in the different sizes. So with Laurel, I use the smallest size. She gets the little pink ones because she really doesn't grow them long. She just grows them sharp. She's like you know what a kitten's nails feel like when that's what her nails do. After about a week, they're as sharp as razor blades. Now, her nails don't grow much. They grow a little. I have to trim them a little bit, but they don't grow a lot. Um, Lucy's nails have the weirdest curve to them. They, they're not, you know, most nails come out straight. Hers come up and then out. So, what's up, Bob? That was a vehicle. I know we don't get them terribly often. Uh, not a lot of cars go by here. No.
Oh, Bob, so excited. What a
Yeah,
good boy.
a car went by. Wow.
Well, in a car there are people, and Bob loves to meet people. Oh,
Yeah, he
Bob,
does. He
he's
makes a
so
good
social.
he makes a good impression. It usually heals in a week or two, but
Yeah.
I
Bob, I
think
love
he
Bob would
does.
be a terrible driver, though.
Mm.
What's that? What did you say?
I think he'd be a terrible driver.
Oh yeah, oh he would.
Mm.
Easily distracted, this boy. Easily distracted.
I think all Tritons make bad drivers who
He,
never have
he's
heard
got
of the word speed limit or stop signs.
it'd be like in that Kurt Russell movie where he plays the alien coming to the stop sign. He says, "Yeah, I watched you closely. With green, go. Red, stop. Yellow, go very, very fast." Bob. Now the problem when you're doing his nails is that he wants to be he has to be compensated. So, and he'll also cry like he's been hurt even though he hasn't. So every time you clip a nail, he goes out. Even I mean, even if you clip it just at the end where there's no feeling at all, he'll make that sound. And then you get done with all of his nails, he wants a stick with peanut butter on it. Then I have to, when I'm done weighing him for record, because this is, once a week they get the actual record written down. and and after that, I have to give him peanut butter back into his cage. He has to feel like he's been bribed, I think is the word for it. But the hardest one to do the nails used to be KK, but I just put him in a collar now, and he doesn't try terribly hard to get out of it. He
Have you
did,
now Peach's color of shame?
yeah.
The drama queen color.
Yep, that's what he goes into. There's the same collar she went into.
Mm-hmm. Peaches was a real drama queen when it came to doing the nails.
Oh, yeah, she was. And then when it was all over, it's like, okay, what are we doing now? I mean, it
Yeah,
didn't
that's the
phase her
thing.
at all.
It's like nothing happened.
That's what I admire about her still today.
Oh, she just threw a fit every time I did her nails, but didn't hold a grudge about it. So Bob, on the other hand, when you've done his nails, he expects that peanut butter boy, or he's going to make you pay for not giving it to him. Now the more difficult one is the one I have the most trouble with is Pippa, because I have to put a collar on her, and then she spreads her wings out to try to hide her toes, and then she curls her toes up. So, and since all the toes get curled at the same time, you have to pry the whole foot apart to try to get a clipper on the nail. Then she's flapping her wings. That's the fun one. Dremeling her is all you can do it if you got two people, but you aren't going to do it dremeling by yourself. There's just no way you can hold her in position to use a Dremel on her nails. You need two hands for a Dremel. You can pretty much do the clipping with one because you can get it on the nail and then be holding the bird and clip. But the type of clippers I have. Hi, Bob. The one that's the most fun to do is Romeo, though, because when he sees the clippers, he immediately climbs on his cage and tries to attack them, and then he stays there. So you just have to get his nails through the cage bars. It's kind of fun.
Smart.
If you try to do it outside the cage, he thinks you're trying to hurt him. He doesn't really get it, But I've come up with this technique of just doing it through the bars. I was doing it, getting him onto a perch and doing it, but then you can't put a collar on him because it'll scare the heck out of him. He's easily frightened. So I had somebody else who's been working with birds for years. She was part of a big rescue in Arizona that closed down. The one where we were originally had it scheduled that if something happened to me, we would go there, but they had to close down because health issues. They had to, and then they sorted out the birds that were the worst problems. And well, anyway, I was talking to her about Romeo, and she says, "Oh, there's ways to overcome his fear." I said, I've taken classes in ABA, and he is always afraid, and he doesn't have a sense of balance. So he'll be sitting on my lap and lean over a little bit, then he loses his balance. He's gonna fall on his face. Having fun with that loofah there, buddy? So yes, there are ways, but with him, the problem is he just doesn't have a sense of balance. And that's where his fear comes from. So, I mean, maybe if he was in a padded cell with padded perches and he never got hurt for a while, he might get better, but I don't know. Just getting him out and having him play during the day, and it's a tough thing to do. It happens every day, but you got to do it in a certain way too. You can't just, that's easy for you to say. You can't just walk up to his cage and put your hand in there. That's not going to work. You got to put a chair down by his cage. You got to open the door and sit down and wait till he comes to you. And he comes right over, but try it some other way and he's going to get scared. He's going to try to push your hand away, or if he really gets scared, he'll try to bite. But that's just because he's scared to death. You know? He's had some friends in the past who'd come over that he was able to get over that fear, but he never got over the imbalance part. You had to hold him so he couldn't fall.
Drama.
What? Bob?
What have you guys seen? What's the hawk?
Bob. There's somebody
It's
on a
walking.
bicycle.
A bicycle. Oh, guys. Oh, so much action today.
Yeah, actually. Bob, calm down. Come on. It's all right. It's okay. Bob. No, we're not going to get started. No, come here. Come here. Come here. Bob, stop it. No, come here. Come here. Bob. Babaloo. Come here. Don't give me that. Here. Put you in a bucket. I'm just trying to distract him. Because once he gets going, it's hard to stop him. Bob. Good boy. Good boy. Babaloo. You're back over here again. Are you? Jasmine? Jazzy Jazzbird? Yeah, I put up a cute little video of her doing a racetrack run and then running right up my leg and flapping her wings.
Oh, Jazzy. You're such a silly girl.
She's a wild child, this one. She's a wild child.
She's having her time of her life most of the time, Jasmine? Especially outside.
What do you got in your beak?
It looks like she has that. Is that a part of Cecil's toy?
Yep, it is.
You guys.
Bob, no. Don't start.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Bob gets started.
don't do it. I'm talking to you. Yes, I am. Good boy. Well, you are a good boy, Bob. Noisy, but a good boy. So a little bit about biting. We've talked about it before, but it's not in their nature to bite at people. This is not something that they do naturally. It's something they learn from us. Hi, Bob. Do you agree with me on that, Bob? Or is it just on your bucket list, huh? So it can be out of fear. It's not a natural reaction to bite at something though. So usually somewhere along the line they've watched a human back up when they've opened their beak and moved their head forward. So in other words, we're training them to bite. As last time we were on Monday when we were dealing with Bob being overly upset about the phone. So today I'm wearing earbuds. They're not easy to hook up to this, but um, outside stimulus in this case, something about hearing the phone talk out loud bothers him, which is bizarre because you could put on an audiobook or something like that. It doesn't trigger him, but when he hears real voices and he knows apparently when it's real people talking. I don't know how he's figured that out, but he won't attack the phone if it's an audiobook. Doesn't bother him, but when real people are talking. So again, there are certain stimulus in the environment that will trigger a response, and in this case, I think it's a fear response. I think he's afraid of it. Where Peaches loved to talk to people, she always wanted to be any opportunity to get on FaceTime and talk to someone. She would definitely do it, but with him, it's just the opposite. He wants to break the phone or smash it to the ground. He looks tough, but he's actually pretty easy to frighten.
But he
You can
likes
walk.
real people. He'll talk to people in real life.
Yeah, yeah, he does. He does. But he's got kind of some some indigenous people when confronted with pictures off of someone would take a picture of them, they would think that you were stealing their soul or something. Who knows what's going on in his head, but he doesn't tolerate it. And then he starts getting hyped up and trying to find a way to stop it. So
Maybe he gets uncanny valley or something.
yeah, yeah. Would be interesting to find out what that is, but don't tell me you can't get out of there. You're taller than KK, and KK can get out.
That's so cute.
Hi, Bob.
Let's see. How about he will figure out.
The
Has
main thing to the main thing to know about biting is that it's something that humans cause these guys to do. So you can fix it. Um, the problem with we humans is that we tend to think that once something, oh, that's bad. I don't want it anymore. That's the way it is here in the West, pretty much. With some of the Oriental cultures, they're more tolerant. And they learn to deal with it. But uh, so we have a bird who starts nipping or biting, and then we have people trying to figure out a way to either stop it now or get rid of the bird. That happens a lot. I'm always happy when I get somebody who contacts me and says, "I've got this problem. How can I deal with it?" Rather than I've got a bird that started biting. Are you taking in birds? You almost want to answer with, "Well, when you have a problem with your wife, are you going to ask me to take her in?" Or it's just funny, but so usually the way we deal with it is you have to in ABA. The first thing you do is look at their environment. When you try to note it down, when are they biting? What are the circumstances? Who's involved? Um, you research the environment. So with him, it's real simple. If the phone is talking and there's people there, then he's going to start generally. And you can watch it happen. You can watch him start to stare at the phone. What are you doing in there? He'll start staring at the phone. He'll start trying to get to an angle where he can knock it out of your hand, that kind of thing. He won't be able to take his eyes off the phone though. So that's the sign. So what I've done in this case, of course, is I'm using earbuds now. even though they're not that easy to connect for this. Because if I don't, he's just going to start nipping at me again. And it's a fear reaction, so it's not good for him. All I'm getting is a bucket. Are you in there still? Oh, you are. Okay. So, last time he nipped my finger, my index finger on my right hand just a little bit because it was holding the phone, right? So, hi, Bob. What are you doing in there? What are you doing? Don't want to overreact. That's usually going to make it worse. So, you want to figure out, you have to first determine what circumstances it happens in, and then see what you can do to change the surroundings. We call it the precursors, but you want to change all these signals around them that might be causing them to react that way. That's the first step. Well, the first step is figuring out what triggers it. Okay, and the next step is trying to remove those triggers by changing the environment or the way you behave. You know, if wearing a hat triggers it, you don't wear a hat. You're not going to see me wearing a hat around Mander. I value my life too much to do that. Um, any hat that you wear around Mander or put up a hoodie, he's going to attack you. So that's his trigger. So those are easy. Don't wear a hat. Don't put up a hoodie. That's simple with Mander. And again, he's not attacking me. He's attacking hats and hoodies. Hi, Bob. You can get out. You don't need to. I don't need to get you out of there. You can get out of there if you want to. So the other things you can do, one of the most common is to put something in the way of the biting. So if they like almonds, give them an almond. Get something in their beak so they can't bite at you. So in some cases, I've seen trainers give a bird an almond in the shell, right? The bird gets it in their beak, and then they say step up and get the bird on their hand. I mean, because the bird can't both bite you and hold on to the almond. Now, a smart bird who is terribly afraid might drop the almond and bite you, but it's unlikely. It doesn't generally happen that way. If they like something, they're not going to let it go just unless they're terribly afraid. And then you've got to deal with a fear problem. So it's incompatible to bite and hold something in their beak. If you determine that they're afraid of hands, and there's a lot of birds out there that are, then you can get them used to a stick to get up on a stick, that kind of thing. If they're one of the birds that rush over and try to bite you after they get on the stick, then you can take a collar and put it on the stick so they can't reach your hand. Eventually, you can get rid of these extra props, but sometimes it's just as simple as baiting them. You want them to step up, and they tend to lunge at you because in the past, who knows what was done to them, right? So they might have been fine for a month or two with you or a year, and they start doing this. It's an old behavior from way in the past. We call that resurgence. So sometimes it's just having a treat in your hand. It's called baiting. You show them the treat. You ask them to step over. Another thing is targeting. So you use something like a stick, or they make little targets with a ball on the end. Those don't last too long with parrots, but something to get them to move from place to place and to get a treat. So that has the advantage of if you're afraid, and it is natural not to, people don't want to be bitten. So if you're afraid, using a target to get their attention and get them to move from place to place, that can be helpful. And targeting is a good thing for them to learn anyway, because anything you want them to do, you're going to want them to move to do it, right? So targeting teaches them to move where you ask them to move, and to do other things like open their wings, open their beaks for examination, hang upside down. It's actually I use my fingers to indicate when I want them to flip upside down, but sometimes you don't just have to overcome the problem with the bird, you have to overcome your own problems. What? What? What do you want? You want to eat my finger? You going to eat my finger? Did you? Hmm? Hi, sugar. Hi, sugbird. Hi, sugbird. Hmm. That's a good girl. She knows that we're doing something. This is not the time she usually gets petted, but she's gonna try anyway.
So Jem and Jamie is writing in chat about her umbrella, who is afraid of sticks and brooms because a former roommate of her has poked at her with the broom through the bars. Oh, poor birdie.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, those are the kind of people you want to get some friends over and some marine friends and say, could you haze this person for me?
Mm.
Cruelty seems to be common among humans. I don't know why that is. I know. It's cruel not to pet you, isn't it? Yeah, Peaches was afraid of brooms. It was the only thing she was ever afraid of. And then after being with me for a few months, she lost that fear. But I think somebody obviously must have hit her with a broom too. So nothing else that I ever saw her afraid of, other than birds that were acting kind of crazy. She'd back away. But um, my baby, you still in there, Bob? Bucket boy? You can get out. Don't tell me you can't.
I don't think he wants to get out. I think he likes it in there.
I'm not sure what he thinks at this point, but you're probably right, because he's not trying to get out. Got to check on him every once in a while, though. You never know. What are you doing, Lorelai? Did I touch your tail? I did. Hmm? Yeah, I have something I'll put out I'll put it on Patreon. I'll put it on Telegram, the two places I can get it up. That talk about the issues with biting, but basically, you need to find out when it happens, what the circumstances are, and then see if you can alter the circumstances, and then you work with incompatible objects, get something in their beak that makes it unlikely that they can bite you. You know, usually that's by a treat. Are you eating a down feather? What are you doing over there, silly girl? We are a silly girl. Hmm? You're gonna hold my finger? Hmm?
Oh, how romantic.
Yeah, you're a nut. You're gonna come over? You're gonna come over? Okay. Hi,
No,
baby.
you're so cute.
That's adorable.
I know. I love that dino feed.
You've probably seen me pick up Bob using just a finger in his beak. But there are times you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that if he's doing his fixation on the phone, or if he's been running around like a crazy bird. It depends. I can tell when he's too excited to pick up that way because he's gentle. You barely even feel his beak around your finger. Oh, you too, huh? Yeah, it's tough when you have. I'm gonna see if I can switch this camera. It's tough when you have a bird that has developed a fear like that. Come on. With Peaches, I mean, I had to sweep every so often. So, usually every day I had to sweep, and she got used to it. But the first time I brought out a broom, she just ran screaming away. She just, fast as her little turtle legs could move her.
Not
Mhm.
very fast, poor thing.
So I started leaving the broom at the far end of the room where she could see it. And then I had to use it every day, but I'd slowly moved it closer and closer. Within just a matter of a couple of weeks, she just got over it. But who knows? That might have been why she had the problem she had with her back. A fused vertebrae may have been from being hit with the broom. It's hard to say. You have to hit them pretty hard, but the good doc said that was possible. Not likely, but possible. It looked like it was obviously from an injury. What? Now Bob's acting like a crazy bird. What are you doing? He's enjoying the sound he's making, I think. What are you doing down there? Babaloo? Babaloo? Lorelei. Yeah, desensitization for when they're afraid of something usually takes longer with true parrots than it does with cockatoos. But cockatoo, you put a toy in their cage, and they're like, oh, I see something on there I like. You put it in there on a African gray, and they're like, what in the world are you putting in my cage? Get that thing out of here. so, um, so with true parrots, you hang the toy somewhere they can see it and slowly move it towards their cage until eventually it gets in. What? Bob? Oh, nutcase. Okay, let's see. I'm going to switch the camera again. You're going to stop the moment I do that, aren't you? Oh, he was acting
Probably.
like it too. Yeah, he did. Because he was acting
That's how
like a crazy,
birds work.
acting like a crazy bird. I switched the camera and
They seem to know.
don't look at me like I have to take you out of there. I don't have to do that. You can get out. You can get out of there.
He's doing it again. Sweet.
I guarantee you, if I was getting out of here,
Hmm.
leaving the aviary, he would just get out of that bucket, no problem.
Yeah, he could
Sure,
probably.
Bob is flighted. He can hop.
Yeah, the first time I saw a bird get out was KK, and then Cecil watched him do it, and then Cecil did it. So basically, just hop and grab your beak at the top of the bucket, and then bring your feet up. It's easy. Bob's seen it too, and I know he's a smart guy. So I showed him how to use one of those Lixit bottles, and now he's the only one that actually uses it regularly. Once in a while, Cecil will. Once in a while, KK will. The rest of them just let the water sit in the bottle. But it's there. Something happens. They have water there. Right, Bob? Jasmine's back working the rope on the other side there. What? What? Do you want out? All right. You know, you can get out on your own. I don't have to take you out. Yeah. Why do I have to take you out? You can do it yourself. Of course, it never hurts to use the techniques of come bearing gifts, occasionally walking over and just handing a treat to the cage bar. So, thank you. That's just what I needed. Jazz, man. Oh, that was sugar. Sorry. Sorry, Jazz. That was sugar. I just wanted a shower. I really needed a shower today, Shug. Good grief.
Just got no respect.
Yeah, that's funny. If they're sitting on you, they won't do that. I mean, I don't have a bird here. Even Mander doesn't do it, although he has problems with that, and Bob has problems too. But if they're above you, boy, that's they don't seem to consider that you're down there at all, except with Cecil, who seems to do it intentionally.
It's the person underneath's responsibility to move out the way in their society.
Well, the other thing is it just rolls off their feathers. It doesn't stick to the. I mean, I've only seen when one of the birds had dry poop one time. I saw it stick, but generally it just rolls right off. So I think that they don't have an issue with it because it doesn't usually bother them, but it doesn't stay on.
That's a handy adaptation.
Oh, he's got a bead and a broken part of the toy, and some down feathers to go with it. Well, you want me to pet you after you pooped on me? She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. Yeah, he's figured out on that toy that these outer pieces are snapped in place. So he just unsnaps them. So what I'm probably going to have to do is epoxy them on or something. Pull them off, epoxy them down. I don't know. Something so that he can't just pull these toys apart. Because he likes the rattle balls. He actually enjoys them, but then he destroys them. So I was kind of the same way when I was a kid. There weren't a lot of fancy toys, but if I got one, I would take it apart and try to figure out how to put it back together again. I was good at the taking apart. It was the putting back together that was the problem. Yeah, you gotta remember these guys are smart. So if they want a certain behavior from you, and if they're afraid, for example, and they find that by opening their beak and leaning forward, they can get you to run away. Well, now they've got a measure of control in their world. So doesn't necessarily mean they're going to bite. Doesn't mean they're not going to bite. I've had my share of bites. Not too many from this crew anymore. It's pretty rare, but I've got a picture somewhere of the aftermath of a yellow-crowned Amazon bite that was pretty deep. The thing about Amazons is they just keep going. You know, when they take their beak up, just so they can get a better grip. You know? With cockatoos, it's usually one bite and they're done, usually. They get their point across, literally. That point. This little point right here. Have you got a little point right there? Hmm. You big silly. What are you doing up there, Bob? Hmm? What are you doing? Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. You're trying to look at the phone? Yeah, well, you don't see any people except me on it, so.
No phone people visible.
Yeah, that might get him started. Hearing it for sure does. If he hears and sees a face, that's it. It's all over. He has gone to the other side. He's looking for Alfred Hitchcock so we can do a remake. Instead of the birds, it would be the parrots.
Tritons.
Tritons are those, the scarlet macaws too, are temperamental.
I
They're
know,
good.
but
They're
I would love
good
to have a
birds.
specific movie about Tritons.
Yeah, that would be crazy. They're crazy birds. They ain't got there, aren't you, Bob? He's sitting up on my shoulder, and I trust him to be there, but most of the time. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you, Amy and Eleanor, for moderating, and everybody for
Thank you,
showing
Don.
up.
Thank you, Don, for the live stream, and thank you, birdies, for all the entertainment, and particularly Bob for being a good boy.
Yeah, Bob did such a good job. Oh, he's so proud of himself. Yes, you can be, Bob. You're a good boy.
Bob a good bird? Bob's a
He
good
has
bird.
his fluffing chops up.
Yeah, he's so proud.
And we will see you next time, folks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.